Okay. I believe it's now 7 o'clock.
It is.
Yes.
Meeting is called to order. Welcome, everyone, to the November 15th, 2022 City Council meeting. We have a big agenda today and it looks like almost a full house here. So welcome, everyone. We'll try to get through this as fast as we can. All right. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I think I will call on Alex Weber to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Alex. Okay, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Wadsworth.
Here.
Councilman Sandretto.
Here.
Councilman Reed.
Here.
Councilwoman Funk.
Here.
Okay. We have a quorum. So we'll move now to the consent agenda. We have regular council meeting of November 22nd, November 1st, 2022. And then we have a special council meeting minutes of November 7th, bills and communications.
Do we need to, the additional vouchers for payroll, do these need to get added in? Nope.
You can't add to the consent agenda. We'll have to do them separately.
Separately? Okay. I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Second.
Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, aye.
Reed, aye.
Funk, aye.
Okay. We'll add that to the agenda when we get to that point. Okay, and it looks like we are at that point. So, are there any changes to the agenda? And you wanted to add that?
Yes.
Note one change in the, is it still section M, the executive session? We had an executive session
Yes.
noted. It indicates that we would have an executive session under 423110G for personnel qualifications, but that subsection G relates to evaluating an employee's qualifications, and I think would that be the evaluation as it relates to the potential new council members?
Yes,
Okay, so that would be under subsection H.
H.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
And I guess M1. Number 11, add approval of the EFTs.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Reed, aye.
Wadsworth, aye.
Sandra, do I?
Funk, aye.
Okay, we have no proclamations or acknowledgements. Oh, we do have an acknowledgement. We have a goat herder in our group now. Our code enforcement officer was seen catching a goat today. A runaway goat. Okay. Are there any visitor comments for non-agenda items? This does not include the public hearing. This is other things that are not on the agenda. Okay. Hearing none, we'll move into the regular reports. We have council committee reports.
Madam Mayor, may I have the floor?
Yes, you may.
The only report I have is the board of Ben Franklin Transit met last Thursday. went through and we've released our preliminary budget. It's on the website for comment, as well as our transit plan for next year, as well as that is up there for comment, public comment. And then we purchased replacement buses, more of them
More.
on grant, and some matching local funds for total somewhere in the neighborhood of 23, I think, million or something like that.
Well, you said last time some of those are electric, is that correct?
No, we
No.
have not purchased any electric. These are just straight replacements for our diesel fleet at this point. Also, there was 25 vans in that dollar figure that are for van pool.
Oh,
They've had to replace several of those because nothing's been replaced in the last 3 years.
okay. All right, anyone else?
Madam Mayor, may I have the floor?
Yes, you may.
Bill and I had the opportunity to meet with Carla and Sherry as a finance committee to work on some of the 2023-2024 budget items. I appreciate that's an item that we'll have an update on later on in the process, but just really wanted to commend our new city staff on getting up to speed so quickly with systems and figures. And know there's still a lot of work to do, but just want to give them a big thank you.
Yeah, I know they've been working very hard. Thank you all. Okay, any other council committee reports? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to the engineer's report. Mr. Rainey.
Good evening, everyone. Just let you know, Hope Lane Water Line, that project is just about finished. They're working on some punch list items. 9th Street Sewer. They were trying to pave today, the shoulder, but the asphalt plant shut down. They were trying to piggyback on a larger project. So the plant would be open, but that other project evidently didn't pave today, so no asphalt. So they're hoping Inland Asphalt plans to open their plant the week after Thanksgiving. So they're looking to pave that week, and they still have to put the water line crossing across the highway. So that's the plan. And if that doesn't happen, they'll be looking at doing cold patch over the winter.
Okay, is the temperature a factor in this?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, it
but
has to
in-
be what, above 40 or something?
35 degrees and rising. What hurt them today was they only have 10 tons of mix. And for the plant to be open, they said they need to run 45 tons to keep it
Oh.
hot.
Oh,
So the other project that was supposed to go today would have been a 400-ton project, so they would have had sufficient capacity to add that 10 tons, so.
okay.
And then we've gone through the Dale extension design, and we'll be looking at the boundary line adjustment tonight. But I sat down, gave the plans to the public works staff, and we're starting to review that. And we're starting on the design of Jacobs Road, water and sewer extension. And I think with the timing of everything, we're going to try to order materials like we talked about before, but we're still waiting on the county to get the agreement to us for the ARPA and 09 money exchange. So that's pretty much it, unless anybody has questions.
Okay,
All right. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
okay. Jenny, you're up for code enforcement.
Hi, it's Jenny McCombs, Code Enforcement Animal Control. Okay, so this is 2022, September 15th through November 15th. Something I didn't put on here, I did get to attend the WASTE conference. So it's code enforcement training, which was really helpful and insightful. And I appreciate the opportunity to attend that. So my public contacts was 367. This is 2 months. That's in person, emails, phone. Notice to comply, warning and violations. Dog control was 27. Stop work orders were 4. That's either no permit or business license. Junked vehicles is 8. Weeds, trash and debris, 22. RV, trailer, boat, 12. Impounded animals was 12, return to owner was 9, release to rescue 3, injured animals 4, welfare checks 7, DOAs 5. Graffiti abatement was 7, working with that juvenile justice center to help with abate most of those cases. And with the moratorium, our permits are a little bit down, but there was 12 of them. 1 new residential, a single family residential, 2 outer building garages, 2 HVAC replacement installs, 3 new fences, a solar panel install, 2 right-of-way alterations, and a demolition with inspections scheduled 52.
And
And-
1 goat.
And 1 goat. I put animals. I didn't specify to dogs. Anybody have any questions or?
I appreciate you.
Thanks.
You are doing some awesome work.
Yes,
Thanks.
she is. for
I
sure.
really enjoy Benton City and serving the people and look forward to many more years of it. So thank
Great.
you.
All right, thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
Commander Clark.
Oh. Okay. All right, sheriff's report.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor. This is Commander Matt Clark, and I got the report for the Sheriff's Office for the month of October. The Sheriff's Office responded to a total of 192 calls for service during the month. Out of those 192 calls for service, we had 17 case offenses where the deputies actually completed reports, made arrests, that sort of deal. We also wrote a total of 5 infractions for the month in the city. It was a pretty good month again. We're pleased to say that. We also took part in the recess with responders where the sheriff's office, along with the fire department, went to the Kybee Elementary School, and we got to eat lunch with the elementary students. Also, we joined them out on the playground. The deputies and firefighters got to interact with the kids, read books, and I think it was well received within the school and with the kids. We had a lot of fun having the opportunity to hang out with the students there so that they get to know the sheriff's deputies and also the fire department. So it was a lot of fun, and we look forward to continuing to do that type of stuff in the city.
Great, thank you so much. Certainly appreciate all your work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Commander Clark? Hearing none, I guess we'll move on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so now it's time for public hearings. And the first public hearing that we have is for the Weber Auto and Conditional Use Permit. So this is a public hearing, and this is your chance to lodge any complaints or approvals that you may have. So if anyone would like to come forward, please do so at this time. Okay, hearing none. We can move on. I believe council will have a chance to ask questions when we go into the approval of this. Okay, so this.
Madam Mayor, excuse me, do we need to open the public hearing and close it?
Sorry, yes, I was just getting ready to close it, but I didn't open it. So I will do this again. We'll open the public hearing for comment. And once again, is anyone here that would like to comment on the Weber auto repair and conditional use permit? Okay. Hearing none, I will close the hearing. Hearing is closed. The next public hearing is that for the reading of ordinance 1044 to vacate an unnamed right-of-way, an alley. Is there anyone here that would like to, well, let me open this, open this public hearing. So is there anyone here who would like to comment on the vacation of the alley.
Would you like me to present the staff report?
I'm sorry.
Would you like me to present the staff report at this time?
Oh, sure. Yeah. That's great.
Did the staff report need to get presented for the first public hearing?
I don't know. Does somebody have it? Oh, okay.
Yes, it typically does. Excuse me. My name is Emily Weimer. I am a planner with AHBL, the contracted planner for the city. This is, excuse me, a public hearing and first reading of an ordinance to vacate an unnamed right-of-way. The city did receive a petition for a small chunk of right-of-way, approximately 280 feet long by 20 feet wide. It's generally situated north and west of the Conoco gas station in downtown. There is an exhibit in the packet and aerial to show the location. And the petition meets the requirements contained in state law and your municipal code. City Council previously passed a resolution in order to set the public hearing date to tonight. I did provide a staff report analyzing the past processing and some comments on the merits of this proposal. There are two options for council to consider tonight. It's council's discretion whether to require compensation for right-of-way vacation. So option one is without compensation, and that's the ordinance that I prepared. If the council wishes, they can request an appraisal of the property, and then they can require compensation for the land to be vacated. So it would go split down into 4 ways to the 4 adjacent property owners. We did prepare the ordinance for no compensation, so that would be the first reading. If council wishes, they can request staff to create a different ordinance with compensation after that appraisal is done, because we can't do that ordinance until an appraisal is done.
Okay.
And I'm happy to answer any questions on the proposal tonight, if council has any.
Is this the time for them to? I think they need to comment later when we go into the approval.
Okay, thank you.
And I don't know the correct procedure, but I would like you to give that report for the Weber Auto Body, because I didn't realize you were here to present it. So
I can present that on the next agenda during the approval process. If you
all right, that would be fine.
I'm super confused. So, Madam Mayor, if you'll indulge me,
Okay,
item number I says we're gonna have a public hearing. There was no comments. Then it says we're gonna have a staff report.
that's what she just
One
gave.
B, not
there's-
for the conditional use for I. I'm back on I.
Yes, so we do have one item and it was split up to 2 different items on the agenda. So I'm happy to give that presentation during I, or I can give it later.
Where is it at later on the agenda?
And
There is no N on the agenda that I have in front of me.
okay,
I think it's M.
Executive session. May I ask that you go ahead and provide the staff report now, please?
thank you
Sure.
for noticing.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So this one was a closed record hearing for a conditional use permit. Previously, Planning Commission held the open record public hearing and took in comments. There were 2 commenters. One was the applicant Weber, and the other was Jenny McCombs, the city's code enforcement officer, spoke. There were no comments submitted on the proposal. It's to authorize small scale auto repair in an existing building with an existing business. And there's no proposed changes to the exterior of the building or the existing access. And minor auto repair is defined in your code as to include brakes, timing belts, flat tires, electrical fixes, and oil changes. Planning Commission reviewed the proposal against the considerations as contained in the code. The proposed use is in alignment with the commercial zone that it's in, with the purpose as stated in your code. Planning Commission did not recommend any conditions of approval. So we forwarded on their recommendation to approve the conditional use permit for the auto repair in order to allow minor auto repair use with an existing auto parts retail store in the C1 zoning district. And adopt 6 findings of fact as contained in the Planning Commission staff report and no conditions of approval.
When you
so-
say no conditions of approval, there was some discussion in there about having any vehicles moved to a different lot. And that's not considered in a condition?
They did not end up recommending that as a condition, no.
Oh, really?
It was part of the discussion, but it did not end up being
Okay.
a condition that they recommended.
So the vehicles will all be parked on the street?
I'm not sure I can answer that, but the applicant is here and he may be
Okay.
able to answer that.
All right. Would you all like to hear about that?
Sure.
Yeah, this question was brought up in the planning commission, and I'll reiterate what I said. There is a large drop yard that all vehicles that have any issues aesthetically or mechanically that will be required to be in that drop yard that is fully opaque and covered from traffic from the street. And we apologize. Yes, there were some of these ugly vehicles that were on the side of the street, but as business owners know, it takes time and money for things to move forward. So we have now moved all of those aesthetically garbage cars and mechanically issue cars inside the drop yard. Thank you.
Okay.
Are we allowed to ask questions?
No. I don't know if this is the time for that. Can you please
Is
explain?
it closed?
I'm a little confused because you previously opened and closed the hearing and we're
Yeah, I know.
without opening it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the hearing's closed, so we don't get to rehear the matter. So I think, yeah, this probably isn't the time for a back and forth between council and the public.
Okay, we'll do that in the second part under the approval. Okay, so the hearing for ordinance 1044 to vacate is closed. And now we have one more public hearing, and that is to extend the end date of the moratorium. So I'm going to open that public hearing now. And Emily, do you have a staff report for that?
This one's not one of our items.
I'm sorry?
This one is not one of our items.
Oh,
I believe it's your attorney.
oh, okay.
Hold on, just making a note. So what you all see in your packet here is an extension of the previous moratorium that was put in place. Concerning design standards related to the R2, R3 zone. At this point, the design standards, I think we're getting close to complete. I'd let the planners speak to that because I think they're the ones involved in developing those, but I think we're getting close to complete, but we're not yet there. And this moratorium, I think currently is expiring on the 17th this week. So the purpose of this extension is again to extend for the statutorily prescribed time frame of 6 months. So at latest, this would expire in May. There's always a potential that the moratorium could again be extended in 6-month increments. Each time that we do that, we're required to have a public hearing to establish certain findings of fact, which are incorporated into the resolution in the packet prior to extending that moratorium. So We're simply asking, suggesting the council extend that to allow for time to complete those updated design standards. I think we're anticipating that the moratorium more than likely would probably be canceled in advance of that May date. We want to just make sure that we have enough time on the back end to get the design standards implemented. Be happy to answer any questions anybody might have on that. And the specific statute that we're moving from is in our optional code. Let me pull it up here real quickly. It's 35A63-220, which states that a moratorium or interim zoning ordinance may be renewed for one or more 6-month periods if a subsequent public hearing is held and findings of fact are made prior to each renewal.
Okay. Are there any comments on the moratorium? This is a building moratorium for R2 and R3 residential districts. Okay, yes. Could you please come up and state your name?
My name's Bruce McAllister. For the new council members, welcome. Our property's on the corner of 13th and OIE. We have an acre and 1.14 acres. That we started this process before the moratoriums happened. We had, we were going to subdivide 2 quarter-acre lots, and then the moratorium happened, and we got held up. Since then, the economy's crashed, and the builder still has some interest, but our net income from that property has greatly diminished. But the other concern that I just wanted to throw out there that is related to all of this is that one of the things that came up besides the original intent that my understanding of the purpose of the moratorium was also to now I think it's leaning in the direction of where we have to put water and sewer hookups to the property, which for us and other people, whether you want to gift property to a child, a piece of ground you have, or in our case, we want to sell a couple so we can pay for our property and retire. The problem is we have to pay off the land portion to our mortgage, as most people would. So it isn't just the cost of putting sewer stubs and water stubs in, but to sell to a buyer to get the release of the land to get property ID on it, we would have to spend the money to go into the street and hook up sewer, hook up water and irrigation water. We do happen to have power there, so we wouldn't have that cost. We also will have to donate some of our property to the city for right-of-way where OIE turns into Hazel and it goes through that. There's a triangle. Our northeast property corner is just in the street from the sidewalk across the street, and it terminates at our side of the street on the west side of our property. So it's, I don't know how many thousand square feet it is, but it's a fair amount. So all of those things have to be done, and the costs associated with it for us to, it gets to the point that we cannot afford to subdivide and sell that and pay for our house so we can afford to retire. I mean, and you know, I'm going to be 70 this February. And if one thing happened to my income or my wife's income could greatly affect us, I don't know if we could afford to hold on to the house, one of us with a single income. So it's kind of an important thing for us to do. And whether it's me or somebody else, there's a lot of considerations there, but to require the hookups to be there puts me into developers, as we talked before.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but you're going into something different. You're objecting to a different part of the
You're right.
Title 20.
Uh,
And
so-
we're talking about only the moratorium extension. this evening.
Right. I'm not even sure where we're going with the moratorium and what the full, where this is, I know things change as you go through them, but I don't even know where.
We're in the final stages of the draft, so I think we're getting very close to passing it. But it won't happen until at least our nenext council meeting.
Okay.
So we have to extend this.
Okay, I don't know what we're, the total picture of what is trying to be accomplished here. I haven't seen the draft of what you guys are really trying
Right,
to.
it hasn't come out yet for the public.
Okay,
We're
so once
still
that comes
working on
out, then. we
Then
have-
everyone can see it. That's correct.
Okay,
Yes,
all right, thank you.
thank you. Okay, does anyone else have any comments on extending the moratorium? Okay. Hearing none, we'll close this public hearing. Okay, and now we will resume the council meeting. And our first item on the discussion items is the increase, a request to increase the hydrant meter deposit. Jose Barragan, I believe, is online here, and he was going to present that.
Yes,
Yes.
so our current deposit for hydrant meter is $1,200, and when a contractor comes in, they go ahead and put that deposit in case the hydrant meter is lost, damaged, or stolen, and that way we could replace that hydrant meter. The current cost of a hydrant meter is about $1,900. I think in this in the packet it says $4,300. That I think that was might have been misunderstanding on the quotes, because the $4,300 is about the cost for a hydrant, which I do have that as a action item for tonight's meeting. So I know off the top of my head that new hydrant meter is $1,900. So I think it would be in the city's best interest to raise the deposit to maybe $2,000 and then have a annual increase of 3 to 5%, depending what the current supplier cost is.
Okay, does anyone have any questions for Jose?
I guess my question to Jose would be this, contractors are like everybody else trying to get by. We raise that. What we're doing is we're gonna deter them from renting from us, and they'll end up taking the water somewhere else. Maybe by illicit means. I don't think the deposit is meant to be a full replacement cost of the unit. I think it's a partial replacement cost, and I think that's what it's always been intended to be. So do you have any comment on that?
No, I just wanted to bring it up so we could talk about it and see if there was any, if you guys wanted to consider increasing it. I just want to bring it up to your guys' attention. It's something I caught talking to Carla about it, and it's something I was like, yeah, we should bring it up and see what council wants to do. If you guys want to leave it the same, and I understand where you're coming from, I'm totally fine either way. I just wanted to bring it to your guys' attention as well.
Thanks, Jose. This is Sarah. Have there been any issues with any of the the meters so far where we've had to keep the deposit because something's gone wrong with one of the meters?
There, not recently, but there has been times where we do charge the deposit because the hydrant meter itself is not working properly, is not accurately reading, consumption. It's damaged, it doesn't work. That's as far as one being stolen, I haven't had that, but usually they get damaged they get beat up pretty good when they're out in the construction site.
Might have made a suggestion that we check with other municipalities. See what they're costing us.
Yeah, definitely. I have some good contacts in Prosser, West Richland, Richland. I could definitely see what they're currently doing.
That would be good information for us to make a educated choice.
Okay. I will do that.
Okay. Do any other council members want to weigh in on this? No? Okay, thank you, Jose. Now we'll move on to discussion item 2, the 2023-2024 Benton City budget. And I don't know if you had anything to present, but I know one thing we wanted to do was schedule a workshop to go over that. And I don't know how long it will take, if we can do it at the same time we have a regular meeting, just starting at 6. But we do have to get through this before the end of the year, so we don't have too many dates left.
Sherry said she would probably have something together in a couple weeks.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I'm open to having a workshop if it means even an extra day outside of our city council night to make sure that we can get the questions answered and make sure that we're on the right page to make sure our finances are squared out.
And in the interest of time and proximity into the year combined with the holidays, perhaps we could suggest if the rest of council is amenable to it, setting a workshop for Tuesday, December 13th at 6 p.m. and perhaps a follow-up, which is not a council meeting. It's an additional night. I mean, we're setting.
I won't be able to attend
No.
that.
We're gonna have to have this on the table for voting and approval by the
Yeah,
second
discussion.
meeting.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it has to be done by the first of the year. So. Yes.
I'm agreeing with you.
Do you set a couple, like, do you say, okay, well, December 7th, then you need to do it at 6 p.m. The 13th, you need a placeholder and the 20th?
Well,
Make sure you can
she
get
was
it done.
saying 2 weeks, and I think we're gonna have to pressure that for the budget. I would suggest our first workshop be on the 30th.
Of November?
Mm-hmm. And then we bring it to well, hopefully we can get through it if it's prepped right. If not,
Bring it to the 6th.
we can put an hour before the council meeting on the 6th. And see if that gives us enough time to finish things. If not, we'll have to set another additional workshop. And try to get it done before the 20th. Because we're gonna want to have it on the table and vote on it by the 20th.
So Wednesday, November 30th at 6 p.m. for a workshop,
I can shoot for 6 p.m.
I'm good with that.
and Tuesday, December 6th at 6 p.m. for a workshop.
Yes.
Do those need to be noticed to the public?
Have to look into the statute.
We're all gonna meet together.
Yeah, yeah, well, yeah, if it's
Public
a.
hearing. Wednesday, November 30th at 6 p.m.
Because we have to treat it as a council meeting. That's a good point.
Are you good with that, Bill?
Yeah, it gives an hour before council. We can open a workshop and discuss if there's anything left. And if there's some changes that we've requested on the 30th, we can have them emailed out, just not discuss them, and we can bring them to the table that night.
On the 30th, are you thinking of 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock?
6, I believe,
6.
Councilwoman Funk.
I'd suggest that we start earlier in the interest of the scope of the task.
6 is okay. Okay, sure.
Typically, in the past, most of that has been already set with comparisons, with an idea of where we're headed or what we want to do. We usually tend to get through it okay, but this year's been a little off. So I'd
Mhm.
like to think you're right, more time's better than that.
Okay. Okay. So moving on then. We now go to the interviews with council candidates. We have 3 council candidates. Jeannie Wallace, Diane Alcazar, and Michelle McLeod. And Jeannie Wallace called in. She's very sick. And she felt that she just couldn't do the interview tonight, but she's still interested in being on the council, very much so.
Madam Mayor, the list of questions that we're going to ask available, since the questions need to be the same for each candidate who's interviewed.
I guess we have time. We were not up against our 90 days. If we could, I don't know, do you want to propose the questions and then get with Jeannie on those same questions before you make a decision?
If we're looking to ask questions and we need to have the same questions across the board, maybe at the next, since we don't really have any questions in front of us.
I don't know that we have to do that. I think you can ask the person you have their resume. I don't know that we have to ask the same questions. We do for an employee, but I'm not sure we have to do that.
Certainly nothing in the statute that requires that. You just need to do the interviews in public.
Yeah.
But if we've got 3 candidates, one of which is not present because they're ill, there may be some benefit to maybe. I feel bad for the individual candidates that are here that are prepared. But we've got 1/3 of our candidates who are present, so I'll leave it up to council, but I think we could choose to just move forward tonight and interview the candidates present.
My recommendation would be to do that.
Or table it.
I'm good with it.
They've came here.
Mhm.
We don't have to make a decision tonight, but we're getting close, so.
Yep.
Anybody else?
I'm good with the candidates. If they want to address us, I'm good with that tonight, and then maybe moving forward and then.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Somebody want to lead this or shall I?
Please.
Go right ahead.
Got a bunch of this Diana Alcazar. Would you come on up to the microphone? State your address and name for the record.
Hey, my name is Diana Alcazar. My address is 908 Babs Avenue here in Benton City since February of 2016, with a brief stint at the Home 2 Hotel when our house caught fire in the middle of the blizzard of 2019. And we were in the hotel for 216 days while our house was being rebuilt.
Oh, my.
So I'll start off with the questioning. I'll try and keep it down. So why do you want to be a councilman?
I have lived in Benton City since 2008, and I've been active in the local the congregation that I belong to, And I have seen a lot of what happens in Benton City, and I've spoken at city council meetings. I have a strong passion for youth and making things available for them. And I see some youth in our area that struggle to find things to keep them busy, that are productive. I work at an alternative high school in Pasco School District, and I want to see this community grow in a way that is positive. But one of my favorite things about Benton City is the fact that we can drive into town and there's cows and there's horses and there are goats. And yes, those animals get loose. And but when we were looking at our house in town, we found a couple ducks wandering through our property. And I just thought that was the neatest thing. I grew up in a small community, a little bit smaller than Benton City. And I love that rural. And that's part of Benton City's charm. And I would hate to see it turn into Pasco or the craziness that's in Richland and in the Tri-Cities that we see, and the crime and all the negatives that go with that. I think this is a beautiful community, and I want to make sure that I have a say in helping my neighbors have a say in keeping it a good, beneficial community.
Okay. Guys,
She kind of answered all of my questions. She did really well with your response. Great job. Thanks.
okay.
Thanks especially for applying, right? It's really important that people who care about our community take time to advocate and participate for it. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess then, the next person would be Michelle McLeod, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, Michelle.
We'll state your name and address for the record.
My name's Michelle McLeod and I live at 1201 Fig Street in Benton City.
Okay. And why do you want to be a council member?
Well, I love Benton City. I've been here my whole life and I raised my kids here and I think it's a great community. And I've done a lot of work in town over the years trying to make it better. And I just think we can continue to make it better and better. I volunteered at the school for 8 years. I volunteered at the Benton City Food Bank for 7. I was in charge for a couple of the years. I took place in a lot of the Chamber of Commerce back then. And I really think it's important for people to get involved in the community, because without that, we don't have a community. And I just really like to see things get better and better. I just loved living in Benton City. I think it was a good place to raise my kids. I'm happy to see all the new houses come in so that families, children can stay here in Benton City and have the same opportunities and benefits that I had and that my children had. And I think that our school district is getting better and better. And I really would like to be a part of making things better for people. I also was on the council for a couple of years and I really enjoyed that. And I feel like I made a real difference in the community. And I've been on the planning commission for over 7 years. And I really feel like I've made a difference in town. And I feel like I've helped the community and the families that are here and that are coming here. And I'd like to continue helping the community prosper and become a better place to live so that people will stay here in Benton City. And I'm excited about all the improvements that are happening. And I'd just like to be a part of that because I feel like that will benefit the city and the families and all the businesses in town.
Okay. Questions?
Thank you.
No questions. Come on, you guys. Okay, well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to meet you and greet you and tell you how I feel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so now we will go into executive session to look at the candidates' qualifications. And then we will return and 15 minutes. You all are
8:05.
8:05. Meeting is adjourned. Again. All right, calling the council back into order. And we are going to look at items for approval. So the first reading of ordinance 1044 to vacate an unnamed right of way.
I move to approve on its first reading ordinance 1044 vacate an unnamed right of way alley.
I'll second discussion.
Okay,
So, dear city attorney, under our vacation code, references particular piece of property. Do we have any liabilities reference, gifting of public funds on that? Or is it just a simple land use transfer that we don't have to worry
Oh,
about
for the waiver of the compensation title report and all that?
for the alleyway? Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm not, I'd have to pull up the specific code provision. I think let me see if I've got it here in the packet, because I know that the resolution discusses, the code and what those conditions are. I'm just gonna find it real quick. Add Valeron.
I apologize for not being as.
No,
versed
it's
on that.
fine.
EMC 121040.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me look at that provision real quick, though.
I can add the RCW citation if that would be helpful.
Sure.
It's
okay.
3579. And there's a few different subchapters for that.
Thank you.
$3579,030.
No, I'm trying to find our code provision, see if it discusses in 120B. Okay, so, maybe wait, so compensation of the vacated areas and appraisal title report as required, may be waived in whole or in part if one or more of the following apply. So vacation is initiated by council resolution. Vacation is at the request of the city. Those are kind of the same thing. The right of way to be vacated was previously determined by the city council not to be essential to public traffic circulation and is available for vacation. The grant of a substitute public right of way, which has value as a right of way at least equal to that of the right of way to be vacated. So we're getting another right of way. The resulting benefit to the community of the project requiring the vacation outweighs the appraised value of the right of way to be vacated. So I think we'd probably want to, identify what basis we have. I know that the resolution indicates that we have that authority, which is correct.
So then if I said that there was no public use for the property.
Right. Yeah, so that's one of the bases. If the right of way to be vacated was previously determined by the city council not to be essential to public traffic circulation and is available for vacation.
So does that have to be a motion or can it be a determination and discussion here?
I think it could be a determination and discussion.
So everybody, so the four of us are all on the same page. We all agree that there's no public use for that property, correct?
Correct.
And we want to vacate it. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Okay. So that's the end of my discussion.
That was
If you'd
quick.
like to call for the vote.
All right. I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
Already been motioned.
Yeah, the
Has
motion
it?
been
Second,
seconded.
okay, sorry, lost track there. All right, so All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, I.
Reed, I.
Funk eye.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, then we have the second reading and approval of ordinance 1043, which is the 2020 ad valorem property tax.
Madam Mayor, I move to approve on its second reading ordinance 1043, the 2023 ad valorem property tax.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, I.
Funk eye.
Reed, I.
Okay, motion carries. The next one is Dinah Lane Boundary Line Adjustment, Mr. Rainey. The next three are yours.
Yep, good evening again.
All right.
What you have before you, I apologize, my computer is not working tonight. But we have the layout for the boundary line adjustment. And it's gone through Ken Bricker, the owner of the properties to the south. And he actually discussed this with the county irrigation district. And now we're gonna have an easement across a corner. If you look kind of to the east side, on the south side, there's a little triangle there. And he got them to agree to allow us to have an easement there, which makes for a better transition for road, both vertically and horizontally. It's a smoother curve.
Good.
And so we're just looking for you guys to agree to that, and then we'll get the boundary line adjustment finalized here, hopefully before the end of the year. And like I said, we have the plans that we've submitted to the public works staff for review. They're working on it with us, and it's based on this alignment.
Okay, I move to approve the Dinah Lane boundary line adjustment.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Funk eye.
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, I.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. Mr. Rainey again,
Okay.
Ninth Street Sidewalk Project Change Order 1.
So these items were brought before you guys quite a few months ago. And nothing has changed as far as dollar amounts. What we had to get was concurrence or approval from DOT. And we originally had one change order, but we broke it out into two because change order number 2 deals with DBEs or disadvantaged business enterprise. Essentially, I guess it's a newer name for me. It's, minority and women-owned businesses. Yep. And so with this project, there was a certain amount of DBE required, and it was 6% and worked out to about $22,000. We reduced the DBEs work on the paint striping, but then we increased it with the mailboxes. So we just had to make sure, or DOT wanted to make sure that what was subtracted from the DBE quantity was replaced in like value. So we've covered that, and they've approved both change orders 1 and 2. And that's partly why it's taken so long, is to get some of this stuff from the contractors, then to DOT, and then got their final approval here this week. So if you guys have any questions on those. And there is money in the budget to cover all these costs.
Well, if I'm right, change order 1 and 2 are like 2,000 and 1,000 or something. Is that right?
No, change order 1.
There's a lot of paper in here, so I'm having
Yes.
problems keeping up on it.
Change order 1, I apologize, I don't have it in front of me. I believe that was 29, yeah, 29,000. And then change order number 2 was about $2,000. total.
And change order one is 29,675.64.
I just see a lot of numbers in here, 49,376, 390 something. They just keep not coming. So I just want to make sure where our dollars are at. So we're adding 29 as an approval item and
What's this one right here?
2,000.
It's the 29,675.
Yep.
Change order total for number 2 was $1,404.84.
Okay. Thank you.
I see may I bring my computer over? to
Sure,
show
yeah,
You have the details.
Yeah,
there?
but
I
Carla
think
gave it to
part
me.
of the confusion that I see is that besides a lot of numbers, there's a red box for change order one that says item 2A. 2959.57
With Alba markup.
with the album markup.
Yeah, though, that.
On PDF page 125.
Yeah, that's,
Then we need to go to this one to get
That is everything.
all of it. Okay.
Yeah.
But the next page has the total amount. Okay.
Yeah.
Back with you, Alan.
yep, okay.
Whole bunch of individual itemized pieces and then put
Yeah.
together.
Right, on each sheet, I tried to put which change order and what line item it was on the change order. So,
I think I put that information on the yellow sheets.
I'm looking for the yellow sheet on
Yeah.
order two. I don't
It's
see it.
It's at the bottom.
The
So-
very bottom.
I think I'm straight. Everybody else
Okay.
straight?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, so I moved to approve 9th Street sidewalk change order number 1 in the amount of 29,675.64, which is exempt from sales tax.
correct.
Second,
Okay. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, I.
Read I.
Thunk, I.
Okay, motion carries.
And I moved to approve 9th Street sidewalk change order number 2 in the amount of $1,404.84, which is exempt from sales tax.
Second,
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, I.
Read I.
Thunk, I.
Okay, motion carries unanimously.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Mayor, may I have the floor to address the attorney?
Yes, you may.
Mr. Briggs, it's been brought to my attention that under items for approval, there is no line item number on our agenda for the conditional use permit reference Weber Auto. Can we add that now, or are we SOL and have to wait? Now, it's a requirement of a public hearing, as I understand, that we do have that vote.
Yeah, let me look at her. Put my slide back up here.
It's listing under the public hearing, but you're saying it's not listed.
It's not under
Under-
M1.
Not under items for approval.
Oh,
Yeah,
Well, if you could clarify that for us, we'd
yeah,
appreciate
let me
it.
see if I can do that real quick for you.
And we'll move on to the next one, if you don't mind, Madam Mayor.
all right. Jose, can you please discuss the purchase of a new hydrant meter?
Well, it's actually approved for purchase of a new hydrant. Unfortunately, there was a vehicle that crashed into a hydrant right in front of 400 Babs. This recently happened. And so we're just looking for approval for a new hydrant so we can replace the one that got damaged.
I move to approve the purchase. I'm gonna read the recommendation as I understand it should say, not the motion as written, because the yellow page appears to be wrong. I move to approve the purchase of a new fire hydrant in the amount of $4,328.79, which includes sales tax.
Second,
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Funk eye.
Sandra, do I?
Reed, I.
Wadsworth eye.
Okay, motion carries. The next item is resolution 2022-12. Extend the moratorium end date.
Madam Mayor, may I have the floor?
Yes, you may.
The yellow page support and on PDF page 147 of the packet, along with the resolution after that, are incorrect and inconsistent with what we talked about during the public hearing. This appears to be old information, so I'm happy to make a motion, but it is not consistent with what's in the packet. You need to refer back to the public hearing for appropriate documentation. What-
What is the?
So on the yellow page, PDF 147, it says, I move to approve the extension of the moratorium end date to December 31st, 2022. We talked about May 15th,
Right, this
2023,
was supposed
so
to be
that's an error.
changed to May, yes.
The next page for the actual resolution that's included in the packet on public record is resolution 2022-07, which is inconsistent with the resolution presented at public hearing, which was resolution 2022-12.
Okay, I thought this came up and we investigated the number.
Yeah, I thought I had it changed.
So you,
And I think it is changed on the website.
But it didn't get changed in this.
It's out there.
it appears it's just the resolution number at the very top of the PDF, which is maybe the old resolution number 2022-07.
Yeah, the date appears to be correct, yeah.
However, for completeness, because I haven't compared, I don't know that anybody's compared the whole documents.
Yeah.
I'd ask that
I'm running
the
off of that packet.
the resolution that's earlier in the packet
Mhm.
be used.
It has what you guys have.
Okay.
Be what? Put that number.
Be the resolution 2022-12, which is presented earlier in the packet and during public hearing.
Yes,
That's what we should be, I believe, moving to approve,
right.
not what's presented in the PDF. On PDF page 148.
Okay. Is there a problem with that, Mr. Briggs?
So we've got a discrepancy between the packet documents.
Yeah,
And
we changed this and it didn't get changed on the resolution. We changed it in the agenda and on the website.
But and during the public hearing on PDF page 79, you have the appropriate documentation and appropriate resolution number. It just looks like here at the top, the resolution number is not correct. I haven't compared the documents fully. I just noticed it now.
Current moratorium expires on which date?
November 17th, 2022. And during the public hearing, we talked about extending it till May 15th, 2023 versus the cover sheet, which is just a change in the motion, which says December 31st, 2022.
Where are you coming up with 2022-012?
Look
Right
at the
here.
top, look at the,
PDF page 79,
yeah.
the
Page
resolution.
79 is correct, but 148 is not correct.
That's a 7.
2022-07.
It should be -12,
It should be.
Same as what's in the agenda.
which is what it's.
That's in the agenda, because it's nowhere in this document at all.
On PDF page 148 at the top from the website. That I
It
just
says
found.
2207.
And right
That's supposed
here,
to say 2212.
22-12.
I think we would adopt it as amended if it's not reflecting the same
Yeah, that's fine.
in the packet. We should adopt what's reflected that's correct in the agenda.
And what was presented during the public hearing, correct?
Correct. Well, yeah, if we extend the moratorium expires, my understanding is this week, the 17th. So, let me just count this out. We go November to December 17th, that's 1, December to January 2, February 3, March 4, April 5, and approximately May 17th would be our 6 month.
I think there's just maybe a couple of clerical errors, so I'm gonna just propose a motion. I think everyone's been able to follow along with what I believe are clerical errors. I move to approve the extension of the moratorium end date to May 15th, 2023. In accordance with resolution 2022-12, extend moratorium date as presented during the public hearing this evening.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Is there more discussion?
So looking at your document. You were talking about on page 79. At the end of that, there's another resolution quoted, which is 2022-06. It appears that the resolution has some very significant typos, if you will, that I think unfortunately, we have to vote on it and amend it. I just want to make sure they're all called out, which is that -06. I believe that should be this resolution 007.
Well,
The original, no, the original.
07, yes.
Which this is.
Instead of saying 7, it's 6. I think
Yeah.
the
Okay.
148.
Do you have a printed copy of PDF page 79 from the public hearing, do you think?
I might.
I don't. I found put together this.
I'm sorry.
Are you good? Can I help you?
Sure.
Because it's also right above it.
Okay, may I take this out of your? Yep. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay.
We haven't extended this at all.
No,
Okay. So here's what we, Bill, I'm sorry, I'm gonna come over here for a second.
No worries.
So here's what we have to packet. Public hearing to extend resolution 11, but then here it says 12, right?
Then here we've got 6 and we got 7.
And it
This
actually
has
should-
11, but we said 12. And then what they're speaking of really quick, sorry, is right here. Versus 7 that's on the page at the end.
I can explain why it's, okay. There was no list of anything. I had to go back and literally find these through
fine.
minutes. So the original moratoriums is 06. I didn't see any of these, so that, okay, well, it's 7. Well, it was not, and I kept digging and digging and digging. And I finally have down to, this would be, 12 would be the
Okay.
correct number.
If it
Sorry.
works for you.
So can we use a different pen?
Yeah.
So this should be 12. This should be 12, the base of pay. And that means the 6 is okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you
Yes,
maybe confirm if you
that's
think that-
correct.
You think that that's right? That sounds like
That is
we're-
correct.
because That's.
Based on this, it's correct.
Drilling down to all of them for the last.
Okay.
year.
Way to go. You want to try to do
And
them?
it should be 23,
You got
not
this.
22, right?
Just say as amended.
What one?
The 22 should be 23, right?
She said that in her motion.
Okay.
Yeah, she caught that.
So do I need to just make a new motion?
I would,
We have a,
Okay,
just so we can clearly, because it looks like, and so I've got, it looks like a correction that we've got in the title of the resolution.
okay.
And then a correction in, what is that, section 4?
No, actually, section 4 is correct.
Okay,
So we just need to correct the title.
okay, great.
Okay. I move to approve resolution 2022-12 to extend the moratorium until May 15th, 2023, and and correct the title
as amended,
as amended.
correcting the resolution number.
Correcting the resolution number from 2022-11 to appropriately reflect resolution number 2022-12.
Second,
Aye.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Wadsworth, I.
Reed, I.
Funk, aye.
Okay, Sandretto already said aye, so motion carries. Okay, the next item. Have we made a judgment on the auto body shop? How that could be
Yeah, I
added?
would, there's not really a clear answer in our code, but I think everyone's intent with having set that public hearing was to open the public hearing, hear testimony, comment, close the hearing, and then make a determination on that matter. So, it's the RCW's, it's not a hard and fast rule that we notice every item. It's typically noticed, or if it's action taken at a regularly scheduled meeting. This is a regularly scheduled meeting. We did notice in part the item as a hearing item. I think it stands to reason that would be followed by action, considering the nature of the hearing. So my recommendation is to take action on the conditional use permit.
So
Okay,
added as item 12.
item 12.
Yes.
Do we need a motion to amend that agenda now, or can we do that again, or just?
I don't think we need a motion. to
Okay.
amend the agenda now.
Confirmation of planning commission.
Yes.
I move to confirm Lynn Burton as the City of Benton City Planning Commissioner, position 1.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Sandra, aye.
Wadsworth, I.
Reed, I.
Funk, aye.
Okay. Mr. Burton, you're confirmed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Then confirmation of council members will not be done. There will be no action tonight. We will take this up again on the next council meeting. And then item 10, approval of contract planning services. And I reached out to several planners and got a couple of responses. And I think you've seen the information in your packet. And I believe that the first company, whatever it is, SJ.
SCJ Alliance.
SCJ Alliance has more planners. The Meyer was strictly architects and engineering. I didn't see any planners listed in their list. So it's my feeling that the Alliance contractor was the most qualified to help us, and what struck me the most was the floodplain work, shoreline master program. So she does have a background in that, as well as comprehensive plans and a number of other.
Do we have to make a motion before we can have discussion?
That is the typical and correct way to do it, yes.
Okay. I make a motion to approve a contract for temporary planning services for SCJ Alliance not to exceed $50,000 a year, and would like to have discussion.
Second that discussion. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. So in the scope of work, so first of all, Madam Mayor, thank you for working to find some temporary planning services while I work to move things forward. I mentioned not to exceed $50,000 a year because that's what's specified by SCJ, and we understand the city's intention is to hire a city planner. However, in the scope of work, we don't talk about review by the contracted services to review the job description for that planner, and I believe that should be the first order of business for the city to complete so that a job can be posted. Approved, gone through all the process and posted.
I agree. Councilwoman Funk is correct. The cost of planning services, if we end up in the same boat we're at, so it's just better that we hire an on-staff planner. So, I can get behind you on that.
I'm also in favor of that.
As well as I'm.
Okay,
You want to vote?
let's vote.
Funk, aye.
Reed, I.
Wadsworth, aye.
Sandra, do I?
Okay, motion carries. We have a new planner.
Okay, Madam Mayor.
Okay, then the next is the approval of the payroll.
Madam Mayor, I move to approve EFPs. Boy. What is it? 3726 through 3740 in the amount of 34,174.31.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, aye.
Reed, I.
Funk, aye.
Okay, motion carries. And then the last item is the Weber Auto Body Shop and conditional use permit.
Why does everybody always look to me?
I motion to approve Weber Auto conditional use permit.
I'll
Weber
second.
Autoing and conditional use permit, sorry.
Okay, seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, aye.
Reed, I.
Funk, aye.
Okay. Motion carries. Okay, are there any general council comments?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I would like to compliment city staff, especially Ms. Meyer, on the fact that she has a difficult job to learn. And council correction sometimes isn't fun, I know. Don't take it like we're picking on you. We appreciate the work you're doing. And we know it's a big task to come out the gate and try to pick up. So we thank you for what you're doing.
Yes, thank you very much.
You're crushing it, Carla. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, aye.
Reed, I.
Funk, aye.
Okay, council is adjourned.